Start with a true story. Everything I'm going to talk about is true. But this happened when I was 9 years old, in the 5th grade. And you know how in the grammar school they say, what would you like to be when you grow up, Johnny? And so usually the teacher just ignored me. But this time he actually read what I wrote. Of course I was embarrassed because I wrote a song. It's a short song, and you'll recognize it too, because I stole the tune. As a child in the 5th grade, hurrah, hurrah, the teacher asked what we would like to be, hurrah, hurrah. I remember writing down and turning in that I would like to be a girl, so that I would not have to go to war. I remember him pausing with that funny smile, hurrah, hurrah, sort of laughing, reading aloud, hurrah, hurrah. That was many, many years ago. War is inevitable, I came to believe. So why didn't this teacher of mine dissuade me from that belief? So I was 9 years old, and 10 years later, 19, I was sent to Vietnam. So I kind of had a premonition it was going to happen, you know, and sure enough. Anyway, so then, my father was born in Ukraine, and when he came here, his father, after a few years, went back to Ukraine because his mom and dad divorced, and he wanted to go back, according to the story I heard, to get another wife and bring her over here, you know. So, and he was a photographer and a tailor. And the day he got there, he got beat up and everything was stolen, and he wound up in the hospital. So, my dad raised his 4 younger siblings, and then when he married my mom, he had 4 more kids, and I was the last one. So, it wasn't real gentle. So anyway, you know what a Ferris wheel is, right? Well, there was at the Pike in Long Beach, there's a doubles Ferris wheel. I don't know if you've ever been to the Pike in Long Beach. You have? Okay. So anyway, this is a story. This is a song called Double Ferris Wheel. Especially ushered in. But then the next thing was a roller coaster. You couldn't rock that, but I was scared. But then after a while, I learned to enjoy it. Okay, so anyway, I grew up in East LA, and I don't know if you know what a cholo is, but all my friends were lowriders. You know what lowriders are? Kind of street toughs, you know. And so one of them was named Robert. And what happened was he was still dressed as a lowrider, but everything switched like in the early 60s to become continental, which was when you dressed more European and more stylish, and you didn't have to walk around like you were the meanest, toughest guy in the block, you know. But Robert kept doing it, so I called him Cholo Robert, and everybody else kept calling him Cholo Robert. So this is a story about Cholo Robert. You see if I can remember. Tell you what happened. I hung out with a whole bunch of guys, and 3 car loads went to see this party up in a place we called it Paradise Hill, but it was anything but, of course. And Robert said, "Hey, let me see, make sure the party's happening. He came back and said, no, party's over. Then everybody left except me and my brother and Robert. Well, they said, hey, I was just lying. There's just not many girls in there, so we went into a party. And Robert got drunk, and he saw all the girls' purses. And he went in the purses and stole all the purses, the wallets. And then my brother Richard was driving, so he went out to the car, threw all the wallets in Richard's car. So pretty soon, one of the girls said, where's my wallet? So this is East LA, right? They look at me and Richard and say, hey, where's your buddy? So they go out to the car, and Robert is sleeping in the car, and under the car is the wallets. Robert runs, gets away, but my brother gets hit with a 2x4 in the hand. He goes right down, he hit his mouth and broke a bunch of teeth. And so I ran, and I thought, well, I can't leave my brother, so I come back. And guess what happened then? They all beat the hell out of me. That's why he almost got me killed. But anyway, eventually somebody knocked on his door and did him in. That's what the 5 bullets in the head. Anyway, so let me read a little bit, okay? So, I wrote, some books about all these experiences. And so, for a little background experience, you can hear me okay now? I think the mics, they went up. You turn it up a little bit? I can hear. Yeah, good, thanks. Okay, so, anyway, I grew up in East LA. And my first girlfriend, she was 14 years old, and so was I. Her name was Noni. Noni in short for Winona. And she was in a gang, and so were 2 brothers. And so what happened was he had a girlfriend in the wrong part of town, so the other gang called White Fence caught him and killed him. And Noni knew who it was, so they wanted to get her. When they got her brother, the other brother, there was her brother, they called him Dickie Bird, and another brother called B Flop. They got B Flop and broke his head open, and they were coming after Noni. Well, she was staying at my house, and eventually the cops knocked on my door and said, do you know what happened to Noni? I said, no, she comes and goes. Well, she was killed too. So anyway, that was my experience growing up in East LA. And what the subject of this whole talk is about is why I did so much traveling. I guess I was looking for a place where I felt comfortable and where, I felt like I fit in, because, I never felt like I fit in. Growing up in East LA, it's all Latino community. Well, my folks are from Ukraine, they're Jewish, So, like Christmas would come around, and my friends would say, where's your Christmas decorations? Well, I didn't have any religious training at all, so there was none. But anyway, so next thing you know, I had another girlfriend, and she got pregnant. And back then, in the early 60s, you didn't just go to high school while you're pregnant like you can now. So we put the baby up for adoption, which of course, was pretty painful. Because now he's 52 years old, and he lives in East LA, he speaks Spanish, and it's kind of a rough neighborhood for him because he happens to be gay. And so it's like, he's still, we talk occasionally, and I see him once in a while, but we don't have a real close relationship. The clock fell down. Anyway, so when I was with Noni, my best friend was named Eddie Galvin, and when I got drafted, he joined the Army. When I was sent to Vietnam, he volunteered for Vietnam. So we were in Vietnam at the same time, well, he, when I got back to Vietnam, he survived Vietnam too. And when I got married, he got married. When I had a kid, he got a kid. He was my best friend. Anyway, so whenever we would get together, it's like we never were apart from each other. I know him all my life. But anyway, when I got back from Vietnam, I found a phone booth, which was hard to find because there are all these thousands of guys who come in. So I had to walk a couple miles, found a phone booth, called my girlfriend, Kathy, the one who we had the baby and put the baby up for adoption. We stayed together. And And I said, hey, how you doing? And she said, who's this? I said, it's Phil. I'm back. She said, you're back. Where are you? I said, I'm on Travis Air Force Base. What are you doing up there? I said, well, you know, you got to process me to come back. So I said, how are you doing? Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. I said, okay. So we talked for a few minutes. Then I hung up and I thought, why is it so anticlimactic to talk to her, you know? Because getting back from Vietnam, you kind of think life is going to be exciting and fun and you're going to make up for lost time. No, I wasn't prepared for all the things that happened. You know, and a lot of things that happened that you probably know was the Vietnam vets were treated with a lot of disdain and contempt. You know, like what my friends were, why'd you go? I said, well, you know, I had a choice: 5 years in prison or go, you know, hope for the best. Anyway, so there was. You got back from Nam, and a taxi took us to San Francisco from Travis, and I thought my uncle lived in San Francisco. I gave him a call. I said, hey. You want to see me? My dad's favorite brother named Monty. And he said, yeah, okay, I'll be right there. Well, he keeps me waiting for 4 hours. I just got back from, I've been awake for 36 hours. Anyway, so pretty soon I noticed, I asked the trooper next to me, I said, hey, what's going on? And he says, well, the hippies don't like us. And I said, and he said, you better get out of uniform as fast as you can. I said, but what about military standby, you know, because I still had a flight to LA. Don't worry about that. I wouldn't do it. So I stood there, thought, what's going on? You know. Anyway, so I'm waiting for my Uncle Monty, and he's taking his time, and I had to wait there for 4 hours. And pretty soon, you know, I look in the mirror and I think, hey, I see a tired, skinny, confused, red-eyed, older version of a person who left for Vietnam only a year ago, but seemed more like 100 years ago. And the hippies are staring at me, you know, and the other troopers coming back, and I'm thinking, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So anyway, I'm waiting for my Uncle Monty, and so I see these hippie girls, and I went up to them and said, hey, what's going on? And she says, you know, this is like a young 20-year-old, long hair, you know, wearing bell-bottom pants, and she smiles at me. He's jiving, slime ball military, killing innocent people. I'm thinking, that's what this is all about? I said, what are you talking about? You just got back from Vietnam, didn't you? Yeah. Well, how many innocent brown people over there did you kill? I said, what are you talking about? I went over there because I had to. Yeah, I suppose you had to kill innocent women and children too, huh? No. I got angry. I won't say everything I said. I said, I did what I had to do. You want to go to prison for 5 years? And so I wasn't prepared for that, you know? Because it seemed like just the other day was the Second World War, and people came home being treated with respect, you know, but this wasn't happening. Anyway, so they cussed at me, and my uncle finally came, and he puts his arm around me and says, hey, how's your dad doing? I'm thinking, I haven't seen my dad. You know, I've been away. Anyway, so it was kind of weird to see him. And he says, hey, look, you're going to see Haight-Ashbury, because this is in San Francisco. So I said, really? He said, well, get back in your Army uniform. I said, really? I don't want to do that. Rather not do that. He says, well, get into it. So anyway, he puts me in my Army uniform and walk around Haight-Ashbury. It's in 1967. This is the summer of love, you know? And everybody's saying, hey, man, I got out of uniform. Why don't you join us? Make love, not war. I'm thinking, that looks kind of interesting. I kind of like that. You know? I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I thought as soon as I got out of the Army, I'm coming back to Haight-Ashbury. And that's what started all my travel. And I thought, well, you know, I want to find where I fit in. So, let's see. Maybe I'll sing another song. Okay? So I'm traveling around.
You know, Phil, the music might
Not loud enough?
it's
Too?
drowns your voice out.
Can you turn this down? Turn on the. Yeah. Is that that down? Is that better? All right, so I was a hippie. I became a hippie. I got out of the army. Grew my hair real long. Some of you have seen pictures. Big old beard. And I painted all this fluorescent stuff all over my Volkswagen Bug. Freak out in God's nature. And spread love. And it was kind of fun. Because wherever I went, you know, people flashing this peace sign and, you know, wanting to get to know me and stuff like that. And so I met this girl named Cynthia. And we were together for a year. I moved up here, went through a divorce, and wound up with Cynthia. And we were in LA because she grew up in LA too. And so we were driving back from LA to Chico. Driving up the coast with my lovely girlfriend and my best friend Daniel. Up, miles and miles. Is it drowning out my voice now? The guitar's okay? Hours and hours in the Holy Spirit, chasing after another place. Cars, gas stations, and houses zooming by. The sun shining high through the windows of my van. I sleep while my lady drives and talks to my main man. And loaded with camping gear, food, and lust for each other. Other vans pass us with no acknowledgement whatsoever. We don't care, man, we have each other. The ocean never leaves us, her presence always there, to remind us of her power. She'll be there forever, no matter what. Rocks protruding to her surface, like projectiles shot from the mainland, dying to become submerged in her movement. She stays with us, we leave the world, unfitting memories behind us. We head for the mountains and the quiet trees. Daniela must leave us for the high Sierra. Hitchhike can leave us alone together to spend the night by the sea. Bodies held close, becoming one now. Moving like the waves rocking ceaselessly till we explode with love for each other. For the love, the water splashing on the rocks, and crashing down upon our bodies, holding us, loving us, washing us off. Daniel, hey now, where have you been? Too many years, it's just been too long. Maybe I should pack up my van. So that's all about traveling, because, you know, that's all I was doing. So, yeah, I was up in Chico, and the girlfriend I was with thought I was crazy, because I guess I was. You know, I was excitable, you know, because you get bad treatment after you do something, you know, and you kind of hope you get some respect and not disdain. So anyway, let's see. So, oh yeah, so I wrote this song about that incident. I remember reading in the newspaper, you know, if you ever been to an amusement park, I think there's probably the Pike in Long Beach again. There was a fun house, they call it a fun house. You know, there's like a house of mirrors. You ever been in one of those? And glass, and you bump into things, and it's supposed to be fun. You can't find your way out. It's like a maze. And there's also a fun house. So you go into this dark place, and there's scary things, okay? And you know, you're a little kid. And they even have things to trip you and fall down. And at the very end, there's this little 2x4, and you trip, and you fall into the slide, and you slide out of the whole fun house. And I don't think that would make it today, but back then, it was what's happening. Anyway, so what happened was, this story was probably, you know, 40 years ago, and so one day, up in the rafters, what looked like a zombie or something fell down. Well, it turned out it was a real guy. He died, and they didn't put him up there. They put him up there. They figured, you know, well, he was a cowboy gunslinger. This was like over 100 years ago. He'd been up there 68 years. Yeah. So I wrote this, kind of relates to the breakup of my relationship with Cynthia and the Funhouse. Let's see if I remember how it goes. It's called Dummy at the Funhouse. Like the corpse found at the amusement park, everybody just assumed that he was just a dummy at the fun house. But the man's body had been dead for 68 years, more than the 56 years that he lived. He existed longer unburied as a shot dead cowboy gunslinger, finally put to some good use, most economically. Our love too spent more time dying and finding a grave than it did living. Our relationship became more intense, more significant, more emotions spent, dead than alive. But how could you have become something impossible for you to be? Nothing at all, yet much, too damn much. Where did you go? Where the hell did you go? Not that I now give a damn. I know you're out there somewhere, hanging in some fun house. And I bet, baby, people probably think you're just a dummy at the fun house. I know you're out there somewhere, hanging in some fun house. And I bet, baby, people probably think I'm just a dummy in the fun house. All right, so that's a true story, too. All right, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, so I'll read a little bit more, okay? Read some more. So, anyway, when I got back from Vietnam, my girlfriend at the time, Kathy, from East LA, she's the one we put the baby up for adoption. Can you hear me okay? Everything okay? And so she became a hippie, you know? And she said, why the hell you hide behind all that hair? And I said, hey, you ought to have a good fight right here, okay? I said, what are you talking about? If I was hiding, I'd shave it all off like everybody else does. And of course, we had a big fight. Anyway, so this was maybe a year and a half after Vietnam. And I was a hippie, you know. And I was meeting a bunch of hippie people. And of course, for the most part, they were middle class, you know, white people, you know. And I was used to hanging out with all Latinos. And so it's like, okay, well, this is different. I never felt like I fit in anywhere, you know. So anyway, so one day while I'm walking down the street, maybe a block from home, I'm feeling pretty good, and I saw this pretty hippie girl walking down the street, and she's wearing like a tight black shorts and a white bikini top with fringe on it, and I couldn't help but pull over and ask the hippie girl if she wanted a ride. Kind of like we did when East LA, the cholos, hey baby, want a ride? They usually say no. But anyway, so she took a look at me, you see my hippie style, getting over the shock of someone asking if she wanted to ride. She says, yeah, sure, why not? So she got in the car and looked around, the fluorescent spray paint, you know, interior. She's a nice car. What's your name? I said, Phil, what's yours? Lucretia. You live around here? Yeah, I live a block away. She says, where are you going? Well, she's going for a walk. I said, well, good. You want to go with me to a party? Yeah, where? Where's that? Well, I'm not sure. I read about this in the paper, and it sounds pretty good. It's a mansion up in Hollywood Hills at Peter Fonda's house. It's supposed to be open to the public. They're tearing down the house to rebuild something bigger and nicer. You want to come? Sure, why not? So Lucretia and we drive up to Hollywood Hills, and we find a place and walk in, and like everybody else, nobody belonged there, right? I mean, it's like, you know, it's built up on a hill overlooking LA, and the lights you could see down there, and you could tell the house at one time was really very beautiful. It was large, well built, a lot of balconies, courtyards over the place, and you know, the whole place was in ruins because they're getting ready to tear it down. And so there were broken out windows and the walls were falling down, but that didn't stop us from having a party, right? So some people standing around, a large balcony up on the 3rd floor, big old bonfire burning, just on the floor with the tiles. And Lucretia and I, we went there, we stand around. A minute later, 3 Hells Angels come up and lit up a joint and passed it to me. And I took a hit and passed it to Lucretia. And she took a hit and passed it back to the bikers. And one of the bikers was wearing all black leathers, took a look at us, passed me a bottle of wine he was drinking. I thought, I should do the polite thing and take a swig, right? He said, so what's your trip, Daddy-O? My trip? Well, I just want to come to the party. I answered with a nervous smile, yeah, well, you know, we can make this party a lot more fun. Oh, we can? So suddenly I started feeling less than happy that we were there. Yeah, this your girlfriend? Yeah, I just met her, right? Yeah. You know, I'd like to ask your girlfriend maybe if she'd like to, me and my friends, to pour some wine all over and lick it off. How about that? I thought, this ain't looking too friendly. Well, you know, I appreciate your offering to do that, but maybe she's a little too young for that, I answered, as I felt myself beginning to tense up quite a bit and looking for an escape route. It's like, how am I going to get out of this? Well, how old's your girlfriend there, he asked. And his buddies began to surround us with jive-eating grin, you know. And, well, I'm not sure. She's underage, I know that. How old are you anyway, honey? 14, she answered, and she looked straight ahead without making any eye contact. 14, I said. Well, the biker said, I can't mess with that. I just got out of the joint and I'm not about to go back for any jail pay. And they all moved away, you know. So, you know, I felt like moving away too, but, you know, I put my arm around her and we went back to my car and went to my place. So that was part of the hippie scene. Anyway, so let's see, where can I go from there? Let's see. So anyway, so I started driving up the coast, you know, my Volkswagen. And I stopped at San Francisco, met a bunch of hippies, and they all wanted to know who I was, and I'm hanging out with them, having a pretty good time and everything. And so, you know, I met some nice people, and, you know, we just partied. And so then, next thing I know, I think I'm gonna go all the way to Canada. Might as well, see what the place is like up there. I always heard it was nice. So I stopped in Crescent City. And so I met these hippies. And one of them was named Penny Morgan. And you know, she was real nice and young girl. And she wanted to show me what she knew on the guitar. And I'll never forget, she said, she played, this Donovan song. Josie, I won't fail you, I won't fail you. You know that song? Probably not, huh? Like 50 years ago. Anyway, so she said, look, you know, I'm hanging out, sleeping in my car, and I met her mom and her brothers, and they all liked me. And she had a bunch of, she said, look, this house is the second oldest house in Crescent City. It's So, you know, they weren't well-to-do, okay? And she said, look, you want to see where the tidal wave hit? You know, because back then they called it tidal wave, and now they call it tsunami. And so we're driving around, looking at everything, and it's night, and we're parked, you know, on the cliff, and looking at everything. So, yeah, this building was washed away, and blah, blah, blah. And so we're sitting there, hanging out, and, you know, just kind of fooling around, and, you know, having a good time. And up comes a police car. And he looks at us, and wants to know what we're doing, you know. I said, well, we're just talking. And he looks at Penny, is that you, Penny? Is that you, Penny? Because everybody knows everybody in that small town. And so she says, yeah, Officer Murphy, that's me. She said, does your mom know you're with this hippie? She said, yes, they know I'm with Phil, and they like him. So he wants to search my car. Yeah, go ahead and search my car. So he finds my vitamins, shakes it around. What's this? What do you got here? I said, vitamins. Then he looks around a little more. Then he finds a Berkeley Barb. You know what that is? Kind of like the underground newspaper. He says, I heard about this paper here. He starts looking at the personal ads, you know. Do you mind if I take this? It's all yours. I already read it. So, you know, I hung out there for a few days. Then I went up to Eugene, Oregon. Got a bunch of hippies there. And I thought, maybe I should go to school in Eugene, you know. And I kept on going. I went to Seattle. I went all the way to Canada. And I had a pretty good time, just, you know, checking out the scene, you know. Wherever I went, people were real friendly, and they put me up and fed me. I thought, this is the new life. This is the post-Vietnam veteran life, you know. Anyway, so I thought, well, this must be the world's changing. It's getting to be a better place. I liked it. Anyway, so then I came back down and stopped at all the places I had been before. And then I got to San Francisco, and my car was stolen with all my mementos and all my pictures and everything. And then I realized, oh, it hasn't changed that much after all, you know. So anyway, then I was taking a deviant behavior class, a sociology class at Cal State LA, where I met Judy, my first ex-wife, and she was a hippie girl. But her daddy was a Baptist preacher, and they were very religious. But they were really nice to me. They wanted me to become what they called a completed Jew. I mean, what's that? One that believes in Christ. I said, okay. Okay. Well, I have to think about that. So, you know, they were always praying and everything. And Judy, she was raised a lot of restrictions, you know, like she couldn't wear makeup, and she couldn't shave her legs, and she couldn't listen to music, and she couldn't dance, and she couldn't play cards, she couldn't close the door to her room. I guess that's part of being religious or something, I don't know. But, so when she saw me, she said, oh, this is Mr. Rebellious. So we got together and got married, and we had a kid named Josh, who is now 44 years old and lives in Chico. Anyway, so anyway, what I want to tell you, I want to get to this part here. We hitchhiked across the country, Judy and I, and this other couple hitchhiked across the country. And it was hard to get a ride, 4 people. You know, who's going to stop and pick up 4 hitchhikers, right? With all your bags and everything. But we did. We hitchhiked all the way across the country and met a lot of nice people, a lot of not so nice people. And the cops would always hassle us. And then we got to Sparks, Nevada, you know, right outside of Reno. And the truckers saw a bunch of hippies there, and they said, if you guys are still here at 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to have a turkey shoot. I thought, this is probably not a good thing, you know. So we were going to hop a freight train. But instead, this little white Valiant stopped with this guy named Jack and picked us all up. And he was drunk out of his mind. And you know, after a few hours of that, he started grabbing at the girls and stuff. He said, why don't you drive, Phil? And he's in the back seat grabbing at the girls. And so I got out in Colorado, and they kept going. And I stopped in Aspen, not Aspen. Is that it? Texas? No, that's Texas. No, in Colorado. What's that really nice town?
That's different.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. So I was hanging out there for a bunch of nice hippies and stuff. And I met this girl, she was a Cajun girl named Emma Lou Dupree. And we hung out camping by the river. And she, you know, I said, well, I got to go meet my friends because I can hitchhike and meet them in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And she said, why don't you stay here? We go up the mountains and make babies. And I thought, thanks for the offer, but I got to meet my friends. So I went to Wisconsin, and they were supposed to be this 6-month-long love and music festival. And that was going to be in Toronto. So we're hitchhiking over there. And when we finally get to my buddy Jake's house in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, he says, no, that ain't happening. The Beatles supposed to get back there and everything. Oh, no, that ain't happening. So anyway, so I hitchhiked back to LA. And, you know, after camping out and stuff. So the part I want to get to, if I can find it, is I thought, okay, I want to see Israel, you know? I want to see what it's all about. So I got to Europe, and I hitchhiked to Europe, and met a bunch of nice people there, and then I caught a ferry boat to Israel. It took like 4 days or something like that. You know? Anyway, so this woman sitting next to me, she says, what's with the long hair? I said, well, you got long hair. She says, yeah, but I'm a woman. I said, oh, was that the rule? You gotta be a woman to have long hair. Anyway, so she's talking to me, and she, as a matter of fact, let's see if I can read this. She said, okay, I'm a woman, and it's unusual for women to have short hair, but not for men. I said, oh, well, I guess, you know, I like it. You know, she looks at me and says, is this your first visit to Israel? I said, yeah, my first visit. Never been here before. I said, what about you? She says, I've never been here before either. And she said, she wanted to come here all her life. She was born in Berlin, Germany, and was very lucky to survive World War II. And she pulled up her sleeve and showed me a tattoo of her number, 64782, sloppily tattooed on her forearm. I was in Dachau, Auschwitz and Birkenau, where my mother and father, my little sister, my little brother died. And I look at her arm, and suddenly I felt a tremendous paradigm shift over me, because I thought, why is she bothering me? And she said, I'm very happy to be alive, and your hair reminds me of my little sister. And actually, she liked it. I said, I told her who I was, and we pulled into Haifa, and we lined up to get out there, check, you know, your passport, make sure that you are who you're supposed to be and everything. And so she said goodbye, and I'm looking for a place to stay in Israel. You know, I had no idea. And they said, well, who are you here visiting? I said, well, I got some friends at this kibbutz called Gezer. They said, well, who do you know there? And I said, well, there's this girl named Renee, and named Judith, and a guy named Sinai, you know, it's like the desert. And so they said, okay, you can go. So I didn't know where I was going to stay. And I'm walking around, and I see a Christian youth hostel. And I said, we got to be Christian to go here? No, most people are not. I said, well, how much is it? $2. Includes breakfast. I said, what I do, I put back, just put it there, no one's going to bother. Okay, well, you know, it's my everything in it, but you know. So I stayed there for a few days, and after a while, I thought, well, I better go see the rest of the country. So I took a train all the way up, you know, to the top of the country, to the bottom of the country, and I thought I wanted to see Jerusalem. So I take the train to Jerusalem, and while I'm taking the train, here's this, the benches face each other, right, in this train. And I'm sitting there kind of nodding out, you know, real slow train. And here's this army veteran, actually it was an Israeli army soldier. He's holding this fully loaded M16, which I hadn't seen since Vietnam. I thought, whoa, he's sitting right there. I thought, well. So we don't say anything. He speaks Hebrew, I speak English, sort of. And so then he had to go to the bathroom. So he goes like this. points to the gun, points to me, points to my here, hold the M16 rifle. It's like, so he goes to the bathroom for a half hour, and I'm holding the M16 rifle fully loaded on the train in Israel. I thought, whoa, this is interesting. This is kind of fun. So, anyway, then I went back to Cal State LA, and I was kind of surprised because I was in the counselor's office or whatever where you sign up for classes, and they said, "So you're a Vietnam veteran?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, you know, you could get 18 units for just being in Vietnam." I said, "That's a full semester." I said, "Really? What do I got to do?" "Nothing. You just get it." Of course, they're electives, all the classes you want to take, so we give you credit for that. All the hard classes, you know, you don't get credit for that. Anyway, so I was still a hippie, and I remember when I got to Jerusalem, I didn't know anything about it. You know, you hear about it all your life, and after walking a few blocks, I turned the corner, and suddenly, right before my eyes, stood below me the magical, like a yellow, everything seemed yellow, you know, and something knocked me off my feet, and it was the old city of Jerusalem, and I couldn't believe it was real. It looked like something from a movie camera, you know, cast in some majestic yellow filter to make it look more magnificent than it really was. But it really was beautiful. And the high walls and the ancient surrounding old city and rolling hills and just really, right there stands proudly the Dome of the Rock, which of course is the Muslim holy site. It's built on top of the ancient Jewish temple holy site, and you know, it's just sacred to 3 different religions: Christianity, Muslim, and Jewish. And I'm standing there in awe, you know, and I thought, well, this is the place where, you know, all the Bible is written about the Last Supper and the crucifixion and the resurrection and all this, and you know, Muhammad ascended to heaven, and I'm looking at all this, and this rabbi comes up to me, you know, and says, "Are you Jewish?" I said, "Yeah." It's not something I bragged about in East LA, and so he said, "Well, you want to study about your religion?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I said, "Well, let's go to this yeshiva," which is where they study Jewish studies or whatever, you know. And he said, "Oh, you can stay here. We'll feed you. Here's the place. You can stay as long as you want." I said, "Oh, that'd be nice." And so I opened up a book. He said, "No, you can't read. It's a Sabbath. You can't read. You can't write. You can't write. You just gotta study. You just gotta pray. You gotta." I'm thinking, I'm not real good at that for more than 5 minutes. So anyway, then you can't even brush your teeth because it might cause blood, and you can't do anything that causes blood. That was good for about 2 days, you know, and I thought, that's enough of this. I thought it's time to go back home. So I hitchhiked to Europe, which was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then I get back to the States, and I caught a standby flight to Seattle, and I hitchhiked all the way down to LA. And Judy, the mother of my son Josh, and her friend's kid are in Mexico. So I had to go on down to Mexico and meet them there. So anyway, let's see if I got another song. Oh yeah, one more song. I didn't write this one. It's called Key to the Highway. Can you hear me okay? Sure. I got the key to the highway. goodbye now, honey. I have to say goodbye. I'm gonna ride this highway, baby, until the day I die. Like, I did try to teach that to my class, my guitar class. And they didn't ever get it too much, but.
What did you live on all this time?
All the time of hitchhiking? Well, I had my backpack, and I would just stop at, restaurants and grocery stores and buy fruit and bread and cheese, anything that would keep. And then I would sleep out on the highway, in the bushes. And one day I woke up and I had ticks all over me. And they were embedded too. It's like, I gotta be really careful. And in some really not nice places. It's like, well, this is not fun. But, for some reason it was really exciting and fun, and I was really searching for America, and I thought, this is it. Vietnam and the Army and all that's over behind me, and now I'm gonna do what I wanna do. They'd have to pay me a lot of money to do it today, a whole lot of money. Even driving in a nice air-conditioned car is not fun, but hitchhiking out on the road, you never know who was going to pick you up, There's one time this guy picked me up and said, so what's your beef? What's your beef, man? And I said, I'm a vegetarian. I got, He said, no, what's with the hair and all that? And I said, I just like it. Well, I don't like it. And then one other time, some guy picked me up. No, I picked him up. This was in L.A. And he has a big old heavy suitcase. And he stares at me the whole time. You got any money? I said, no, I ain't got any money. You sure you ain't got any money? I ain't got any money. He gets out. I'm on the freeway off ramp. Takes the suitcase, doesn't even close the door. I thought, not good. And one other time, this is actually in Chico, I picked up this girl hitchhiking, and she said, you got any money? I don't have any money. I'm giving you a ride. And one other time I was in Big Sur, and this girl's hitchhiking. It was hard not to pick up a girl when hitchhiking. I said, where are you going? I don't know. I turned on music. I said, do you like the Beatles? She says, what? The Beatles. I don't know. So she finally got out, and I thought, this ain't so much fun. Anyway, any more questions about anything?
When did you start playing the guitar?
I was going to Cal State, LA. I think it was 1970. And there was this guy named Dave Cohen. And he actually played piano, but he was teaching a guitar class. And it was a quarter system. So back then, you know how you got tuners now, these little electronic tuners on your guitar? They didn't have them back then. So there's 30 people in the class. It was only 10-week semester, quarter, and half the class people were trying to tune the guitar without the electronic tuners. Ding, ding, ding. It's making you crazy. But I liked the guy. He lived in Venice Beach, and we'd hang out and we'd play music on the beach and drink wine and have a bonfire. And then probably back then, they didn't have these guitar stands. You put your guitar in the closet and let it sit there for a year at a time. So from that class in 1970, I would play the same stuff, same few basic chords, and pick it up once a year or something. Then when I went through my depression and breakups and stuff, I thought, okay, I'm going to start writing. And so I started writing poems. And I did poetry readings, and people said, he's a comic tradition, or what is it, tragician, or whatever the hell the word, tragedy, so tragic, comedian, whatever it is. And then I thought, I'm going to turn it into music. So that's what these songs are. These are old poems that I turned into music. And for me, it was therapeutic. It was really just very helped. It helped me. You know, like if you're ever depressed, doing something creative, I found that, you know, and writing and music and socializing, you know, and relationships and love. And that's what pulls me through. That's what pulled me through. Anything else? No? Okay, well, I want to thank you for coming because, you know, I thanks God. I appreciate, actually, I feel honored that I get to teach guitar and have those guitar classes and the gospel music class because for me, it's challenging and it's therapeutic and it's enjoyable and I get to meet wonderful people like you. Really, it just means a lot to me. One of the class members said to me, I don't know what I would do if I wasn't in this class. And I thought, whoa, I don't either. How'd you read my mind? You know, and the same thing with my radio show, which is on tonight. Tonight I'll be doing Motown and Ry Cooder, Taj Mahal, and some Texas Tornadoes. And to me, that's therapeutic as well. And I felt honored that I've been doing it for 26 years. Because, you know, I don't know if you ever suffered with depression, but it's overwhelming. Depression and anxiety, and, you know, you just don't want to do anything. Nothing brings you pleasure. But this does. This brings me therapeutic for me. And so, you know, I'm going to keep doing it. I don't see any reason to stop. You know, I mean, I can't believe I'm 72 now. It's like, really? What happened to 52? Wasn't that yesterday? You know, I mean, I got out the Army. It was, I turned 21 in Vietnam, you know. And that seems like yesterday. So, I just think you guys, you really should do what you feel is creative.
What did you do, Phil,
After Vietnam?
after we did
Oh, the hitchhiking? Well,
what did you do for
I went to Cal State LA, and I got a BA in sociology, because to me that was fascinating. My brother, 10 years older than me, he said, you know, it doesn't matter what your degree's in, any degree. Back then they said any degree. You know, you could get a job working social services or whatever, you know, civic work. So I thought, okay, I'll be a social worker. And so I got a job as a social worker working at Port Hueneme in Oxnard. And all these Navy guys, the Seabees, you know what, you were stationed there? My son. Well, guess what they all wanted? They all wanted to get out. They come to see me. And, you know, I couldn't help them get out. But what was interesting, the Seabees, they'd be overseas for 8 months and back for 6 back then. And so there was a lot of fooling around during that time. And you know, there was a lot of, the kids were wild and needed counseling. And what I would do is I would try to teach them guitar. The kids, you know, 14 years, 15 years old, they liked to, of course they wanted to learn Led Zeppelin and all that. So I was like, okay, well, I don't play that, you know. But I would teach them something. And I did that for 2-3 years. Then I came up here. I figured I'd go to grad school up in Chico. My brother was teaching there. And he was teaching, he was a supervisor of students, teachers. He had his PhD in philosophy of education. And so I came up here, and I really didn't feel like I fit in. Because when I came here, 1975, everybody was 17, 18. I was pushing 30. And they were all very middle class, very, you know, white. And I just came from East LA. It was kind of a cultural shock for me. But, you know, I did that, and then, because I grew up in East LA, I knew how to make salsa. So people liked it. Hey, this is good. You like it? I like it. Salsa, so I got it in all the stores. Excuse me. And it was Senor Felipe salsa. And all the distributors, it was all over the country, every natural food store from Hawaii to Maine. And It was getting really big, but it was overwhelming. I had a lot of employees, but the equipment, I didn't have the money. It was breaking down. The health department hassled me, and then the competitors, and everything was going good. So my main distributor, Sierra Natural Food distributor, went out of business. And at the time, before that, all these other distributors wanted my product. Well, I couldn't make enough. So then pretty soon, I had a lot of competition. Senor Felix, you know, and they copied everything I did. And then the death blow was Newman's Own.
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly, big celebrity took over. And by then, I was working 14-hour days. I was making enchilada sauce, barbecue sauce, pasta sauce, and everything, different kinds of salsa, tropical salsa, mild, hot, medium hot, killer hot. And I was working a lot of hours, and I would get these orders, can you give me 400 cases of hot enchilada sauce by Tuesday, which meant I'm going to work 14-hour days. And I'd hire people, and they want a job, but they didn't really want to work. They had the music blasting. You got to worry about quality control. You know, you got to have it done right. So I did it for 25 years. And one day I couldn't do it anymore. I wouldn't answer the phone. I just couldn't. Right in Chico. I had a factory down the Esplanade by Shasta Avenue. There's you know where a Chico Veterinary Hospital is? You ever seen that? Anyway, it's right next to that. And yeah, I was making really good money. And you know, Sierra Natural, or actually Sierra Nevada Brewery, the owner is a friend of mine, Ken Grossman. He said he wanted to join forces. And but he just came out with his mustard, and he was overwhelmed. He was going to make another site in wherever he is. Where is he? North Carolina. And he said, now's not a good time. And so he called me up, and I talked to him. I used to go visit him in his office. And he'd been to my factory. I'd been to his house. And we were, good friends. But I just couldn't do it anymore. So I got a job as a health educator for Willows over there in Glynn County. And I'd go around and talk to different high schools and grammar schools and, about smoking and drugs and all that. And I liked that. But I got fired. They said, the boss said, you're disorganized, you can't remember anything, you can't make a decision, you all the PTSD stuff, you can't remember anything. I got fired. And I thought, okay, now what? So I started getting more involved with the veterans groups. And, started working with veterans and stuff and the music. And then, I'm a disc jockey. I was doing parties and weddings and quinceañeras, and I did that for a long time. So that was kind of fun, But weddings, those are rough. Because the bride wants this, the groom wants this, the bride's parents want this, the groom's parents want this, everybody wants something else. And really, after every song, they'll come up, can you play this, can you play this? I mean, I would get paid several $100s, but it really wasn't worth it. It really wasn't worth it, because they want you to be there for arrival, and for the ceremony, and for the party, and for the after party, and for the dinner. You could be there 12 hours. You could get paid $100 an hour, but I did that for a few years. And then my mom and dad taught me how to invest in real estate. So I started buying property and renting them out. Now I have rental properties now and rent them out. And that's what I do. That and work. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's been a great life, really. I just realized this recently that a lot of it's been painful and a lot of it's been depressing and unhappy, but It's been a great life. Really, it's been great. I've had so many experiences I can't even believe them myself. And I've known some great people, and it's a great life, you know. And it always blows my mind when people I know. I've known 6 people, person who committed suicide by hanging, by shooting himself. One jumped in front of a train here in Chico, you know. One shot himself in the heart. 6 different people. Mm-hmm. And one of them was a former girlfriend, and she killed herself, you know. So I realized, you know, I fully expect, I'm hoping, to live into my hundreds. I really want to do that. And some of the people in my classes are in their 80s. I know a couple that are in their 80s. And
That's not so bad.
And I think if you remember Bill, what was his name? He was in the 90s. He played harmonica. What was his name? No, I haven't seen him either, no. Last night I heard he fell down and, I don't know, he got hurt. But,
you want to play the fiddle, you mean?
It was great. It was very
He
good.
had to go, I think he ended up taking care of his wife. She became very ill.
Oh, his wife.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Gibson, Bill Gibson. I think that was his name. Yeah, yeah. So for me, it's therapeutic. You know, people say, "Why are you willing to put so much time and effort into it?" And I think, well, what else would I do? You know, I mean, it's challenging. It's fun, and I meet these wonderful people. I can't imagine not doing it. I can't imagine. You know, so. And, you know, I think some people learn something. I hope. Well, like Harold said, he couldn't even strum a guitar when he started. Remember? And now he plays great. And a great harmonica, and banjo, and sings sometimes.
Have you been doing it all your life?
Well, the harmonica playing, I started when I was pretty young, but I just put it aside for many years. I smoked before playing harmonica, and smoked it never played. So like for 30 years, played it out.
Yeah, that's the same thing with me and my guitar. But like I said, people that play guitar, leave it sitting out like this, especially in front of the TV. Because when you're watching something and you're not paying attention, you pick it up and just go over to a few chords that you want to learn, like that song I keep playing in both classes, Hallelujah. You know, well, that's a challenging song, you know, to sing as well as to play, and just pick it up, and pretty soon you get muscle memory, you know, and I know you guys like to play it in G, but I like to play it in, you know. No, yeah, that's right. You can't sing in G. Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting. Now, all the different personalities, and some personalities in there you might not have noticed are strong personalities. It's like, whoa, they want to take over, you know. But
We know.
yeah, it's like they can't keep their mouths shut. Oh, you're not going to be here. Okay, good. Let me take over. I want to take over. Yeah, a couple of them really just chomping at the bit to take over. It's like, okay, well, I better keep coming. But and there's some really good singers in there too, you know, and some great guitarists. So I'm honored. I'm actually honored that I get to do it, and I'm actually honored that you showed up today because I wasn't sure who was going to show up.
When are you on?
Tonight, 7:30 to 10, 90.1 FM.
90.1.
Yeah,
90.1.
90.1. Take a card there, it tells you on the card there. Yeah, I got my LA Sound stickers there for your car, and the card. The card tells you when my radio show is. So get one of those. And So, you know, what I'm impressed with is some of you have started little subgroups and you sing in other groups as well. Like, I think you you have a group at your house, don't you, sometimes? Fridays, It's fun. And Sue, you're in a group, a singing group, aren't you? Or you're not? Oh, Karen.
No, I'm not listening.
You're not, okay, that's right, Karen. Well,
I love her class.
okay, well, thank you.
I bought Karen a graduation present when she graduated from Chico State.
You bought her what?
A guitar.
Oh, did you?
It
Yeah.
only took me 25 years to graduate.
What's the hurry? So do you play it?
No, I was so exhausted by the time I finally graduated, I couldn't even think. I couldn't learn.
Right. Were you married and had kids?
Well, she gave
Yeah, I was married and the kids were all, well, I think one of the kids graduated about the same time.
and the daughter was recipient.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you have the guitar. You have the guitar now, right?
Do I have one? No.
You're going to bring it, right?
I
Do you-
can get one.
Yeah, I know you can get one. You can get one from Karen.
Yeah. No, it's.
I don't know, that may be in my future out there somewhere.
Well, you know, I mean, you could learn a few chords.
Well, I understand, but on the poly sheet, there wasn't any guitar to share with her.
No, but there are people that would be willing to sit with you and show you a couple of chords. I could think of somebody sitting right next to you.
Well, it has to be this one.
I finally learned after 2 years.
Yeah. And then there's people that play the auto harp. That's right. Sort of. Not lately, though.
No, I like my handmade percussion instruments.
Okay, you got that.
I understand the Juilliard School of Music gives a degree in percussion. Darn, I missed my
You
chance.
missed that one. You missed that one. Yeah. But Ellie is playing now. You're playing a little music, aren't you? Uke. You play the uke, don't you?
Trying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
Big
nice.
of mine,
Uh-huh.
learn something new.
That's nice. And what about this lady here? Do you play?
No, I don't. I appreciate it.
Okay, well that's good.
That's important.
What about you there in the pink?
Thinking about it.
You thinking about it? Mhm. And this lady there, do you ever play?
I had piano lessons in the 7th grade.
Well, that counts.
Do you still play the same thing that you played back then?
I think I could if I found the sheet music.
Oh, you read music? Do you read music?
A chord.
The chords.
First
How
octave.
about this quiet lady back
My
there?
mother
Little fiddling and
gave me
little piano
Piano?
years ago.
That's nice.
It's nice to know that.
It brings a lot of pleasure. Music brings a lot of pleasure in my life. I'm always listening to it.
I can read it.
I can't imagine what I'd do without music. I can't imagine. Really, I just always listening, and even at night, I play quiet music. Helps me sleep. What do you do when you can't sleep? Let me ask you a question. If you can't fall asleep, is there something, a trick that you do? You play music? Do you? That's it. Mm-hmm. How about you, Harold? What do you do when you can't sleep? Is there a trick?
I usually don't play music, well, I usually can't find what I want to hear. I listen to the radio,
Yeah.
and it puts me to sleep
Yeah.
in 10 seconds.
And the droning on, the news and droning
I
on.
don't even hear it, so I turn it on.
Yeah.
Usually listen to the BBC, British Park.
Oh yeah, that'll drone you to sleep. Yeah, I listen to it too. What about you, Ellie?
I listen to music.
You listen to it? And Karen?
It's a rare day when I can't sleep.
Boy, no.
Oh, is that right? You sleep well?
You guys
I
sleep.
do. I just, 5 minutes and I'm out.
And you stay asleep for the night? You sleep through the night?
Too much.
What about you?
I read. I read my.
Mm.
I have a Kindle and I
Oh.
go through that thing.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Uh-huh.
And take a sleep.
Oh, that helps. How about you, Rox?
Me? No, I read.
You read?
I read until it falls out of my hands.
Uh-huh.
I either read or else if it's 4 or 5, I just get up and get going.
Yeah. Well, that's another question. Wait, first of all, how about you? What's your trick for sleeping?
Oh, I read something boring,
Uh-huh.
how to lower your cholesterol. All right, I'm gonna die with cholesterol.
How about you back there?
I started listening to local radio
Okay, so the next question is, what time do you go to bed? 10:30? What time do you go to bed, Harold?
Midnight.
At midnight? And Ellie?
Yeah.
Karen?
We put that about 10:30
10:30.
and 30 minutes.
How about you? Same thing.
I'm with her.
You're with her. With a sleeping pill. And rocks.
11:30 or 12.
None of your business.
Yeah, okay. That knows.
Right.
How about you back there?
11,
And you?
8 o'clock.
That a girl. That's what I want to hear. Okay, so the next question is, what time do you get up?
Yeah.
I get up about 6:45.
And you? 5? What time do you get up, Harold?
About 7.
Ella?
Sleeping after.
7? Karen?
Between 5 and 6 or 7. I get up and walk early in the morning.
What about you? You?
Whenever I wake up, there's no set schedule.
I'm going to leave the part out about falling on a bed there because it's,
Well, I've done that as well.
I know, I've heard. Rocks?
6, 7.
7?
6.
And you know none of my business?
Yeah, and there's a book waiting for me.
Okay, you go get your book.
But I want to thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you.
And my life has been so boring compared to yours.
Oh. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I can't believe it myself. Thank you, Catherine. Well, wait, the two ladies back there, what time you get up?
Well, the clock radio goes off at 6, but that doesn't mean I get up.
Okay.
About the same time.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and it's a real pleasure for me, and I find it therapeutic. So I look forward to seeing you in my class. And you bring your guitar.
Well, that's on my donor list.
Your bucket list. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. And Alex, thanks a lot.
Yep.
All right. So here.